All right, welcome to the CycloneDX CBOM working group. Let's see, last time, I believe we were going to review some pull requests, but didn't have time to do it. And then also there was a comment from Basil about DOI. And so there's a couple things that we could talk about on today's agenda. Anything else that folks want to add?
No, I don't think so. What I have just meant is we already discussed how we want to include the algorithm families in this schema. I think then we would be through with the schema in the sense for CBOM and 1.7, but other than that, I think it's fine.
Okay, so all right. So which schema? The one for the algorithm families,
So we
or
do have this separate one, but how we reference those families then in the SBOM, CBOM schema. I think that
right?
is still
Okay,
outstanding.
right.
If I'm not
Got it.
mistaken, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. Um, has there been any changes to the pull requests lately?
Not from my side.
Yeah, I've created another pull request, so just
Yeah, I see
put
that.
it here that I have updated a little bit. So this one just extends I think this initial file that you created, Steve, cryptography defs JSON.
Right. So this is the PR that's in question. Let's see. Oh, okay, right. So
Yeah, I've
okay,
done
okay, right.
a couple of things there that what I mentioned in the on Slack. It's the URLs, right? So I think the URLs that you populated, Steve, before, they referenced like an IEEE or an ITF page, right? Which is, should be okay. But I thought, I think might be good to have a DOI reference, right? Like which should be a a unique identifier for a document.
Yep.
And if you add doi.org, then this will resolve actually to the RFC, for example, which is something available um, for many of the standards that we have in there in the list, but not for all of them. I think one counterexample are the ANSI standards. There, what you basically find publicly is a link to a web store, right? In X9.663, because that's behind a paid
Sure.
paywall, basically.
Right.
So I think would have been nice to have, let's say, DOI for everything, but it's not possible always.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like this one is, so you've changed it to DOIs, and then here's like the X because no DOI available on that one. You've corrected this, which is good. You've added AES.
Yeah, so
and a bunch of other families.
So the stuff I've done here, I mean, just
Yep.
So I'm basically now finished with the list. In there is basically everything that is kind of defined in one of the SSL or TLS revisions up to 1.3. So SSL version 3, TLS 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.
Got
It's
it.
kind of this big chunk, right, covering TLS, right?
Yep.
The next would be, I think, like IPsec, for example, or PKCS 11, and then look at some more delta that we have, for example, compared to the list that you also added to the Nicholas, right? To the Rust pad, I think. And we can add those as well. So, and yeah, and just one thing more to add about standards. Like if you go back to, let's say, more historic algorithms that are not used anymore, like historically there
Sure.
wasn't, like, cryptography was not always standardized, right? Not open. One example here is RC4, just here,
Yep.
RC4. That yeah, well, I believe it was never really standardized, not even in an RFC. And I think initially it was an RSA, the RSA company, a proprietary algorithm that was at some point leaked to a mailing list, so that sometimes given as a reference. And but what, for example, TLS, the RFC for TLS 1.3, no, it's not in 1.3 anymore, but one of the earlier revisions, they just give a reference to Bruce Schneier's book, Applied Cryptography. So
Interesting.
just might be a discussion point if we want to have such a reference in there, because it's not a standard, but it's what other reference, right, for this algorithm.
Right. Okay. No, that makes perfect sense. So this one is ready to merge in, and then the because we don't have an XML schema yet, so but this one looks like it's ready to merge in, and then you're gonna like build on top of it. Is that the goal?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, would do it like that, yes.
Okay. Or do you want me to leave this open and you can just kind of keep on adding to it? It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, it's I think either way is okay. You can leave it open as well, right? So if I'm not, yeah, maybe for collaborating, maybe would be better to merge it now.
Yeah.
And then,
All right.
and if Nicholas, if you have some more things, if you want to add something, then you could do another pull request.
Yes, makes sense.
Okay. All right. So that's in. And then let's see, this one is still open. Has there been any changes to this recently?
No, there were just the updates. Basically the what was it called? The other protocol, not IPsec.
Yeah, IQ2. Oh, there
Yeah,
might
I
be
did.
still a pull request open on your repository, Nicholas.
Okay, wait, I'll check.
Gero did a pull request.
Okay, well, I didn't get notified at all. Funny. Yeah, and other than that, I think the only thing that is missing is how we reference and the algorithm families, if we want to, because that I think was the idea to have there an enum for that, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think, and there were also some to-dos too. Yeah, I think one we actually wanted to validate with one, but he didn't join. And yeah.
Where do we have that today? Is this in your PR, or this is probably not in your PR, is it?
What do you?
Schema 1.7.
So, quickly, Basil, so did you check the PR? So can I just merge it, or?
What's that?
Gero's PR? Yeah, I checked it. Looks good.
Okay.
I think the change he wanted to make was basically, in this in IQ2, there are these transform types that define integrity algorithm an encryption algorithm, and so on.
Okay.
And so far, we had for each of those types, we had an array of algorithm refs.
I see.
But
Yes.
the definition of this transform type is actually that way that it's only one algorithm always. So we don't need an
Okay.
array, just a single algorithm ref.
But did we change the object? Because for backwards capability, we should keep then at least the old one that we changed.
I think that's anyway new in this.
I think we had something about ITB2 before.
Yeah, maybe I have to check that, but I thought I have just added that when I reworked this IQ2.
Yeah, you. I see.
This is a new thing?
Wait, let me.
Where would that be under?
Protocol.
Oh, where's it at? There it goes.
IQ2.
Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, maybe it's inside one of these. No.
Yeah, it's IQ2 transform types, and this is what we had before, definitely. But we reference then just the.
No, but these
so
are arrays, right here.
exactly. Wait, let me quickly get the screen because I have the diff open. That point.
Okay.
Where can I share my screen? There in the middle, the big green button. So we had this before with the IQ2 transform types, and we had this one here where we just reference arrays, and now we do have this object here. So that's effectively a replacement and would break for existing.
Yeah. Right, it's now an array of an object, right?
Yes.
And within this object, there is a single algorithm ref.
Yeah, it's basically those objects here, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So at least we should keep somehow this, and maybe, I don't know, create a new one, or I don't know if even, I think, yeah, I don't know. Backwards compatibility makes sense. Yeah. Don't know if CBOM is already that popular that it matters, but general, I think it's we shouldn't assume that.
So the effect, we're effectively going from an array of what? An array of objects to a single object? Is that what we're doing?
Before we had an array of cryptograph, which is basically just an object we had that reference kind of.
Okay, so it was basically just a bomb link, basically an array of bomb links.
Exactly.
Okay.
And now we do have more elaborated objects. So we do now go to an array of those objects.
Okay, so is there still a use to do an array of bomb links? Is that still useful to some folks? I mean, we want people to use an array of the new object, right?
Right. Yes. I think so.
Yeah, I think with the new structure, everything can be expressed that was expressed before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not more useful, or it's.
All right, so just mark the array of string as deprecated, and then add the array of objects. Well, we already have the array of objects, right? We just need to add back in the array of string, the cryptoref array or whatever, and then just mark that as deprecated.
You mean then as an object itself, so in the definition as deprecated, or do you mean because here we can't basically add it, right? Because that thing would only take one.
Yeah, it can be like, well, it's still going to be an array, but you can have a one of either the object, which is the IKV2, or one of string.
Okay, so we do this one off thing again and mark just the other as deprecated.
Yeah, yeah.
That shouldn't break with the old version, right?
Right, right. Otherwise, it won't. Unfortunately, it won't be merged. Now, simultaneously, we're working on the CycloneDX 2.0 object model, and 2.0 is likely going to be the next version after 1.7. So all the stuff that we've deprecated will then be completely removed from 2.0.
I see.
So yeah. So and we're keeping 2.0, the object model of 2.0, mostly compatible with 1.7. So it's just going to be a lot of cleanup and that sort of thing, and fixing some of the architectural things that we just got wrong initially. And then, of course, getting rid of all the deprecated stuff and making the specification a little bit more streamlined. So you're really putting in backward compatibility just for this one release, essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So you'll be adding that. And are there the only outstanding thing is then just how do we leverage the algorithm families, right? Are you going to figure that out, or who's going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Just wanted, yeah, yes, just as a to do. That is something we still have to figure out.
Okay.
If we, just from my point of view, I think if we don't take this time and this call, it will be difficult, at least for me, to have some time to think about that. So
Okay. All right. Have you maybe got with the you know, you've got a bunch of tools, for example, in this space. Have you kind of met with those folks to see what they want?
in you mean in terms of algorithm families, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
okay.
In terms
Yeah,
of like being able to scan a code base or scan a binary or whatever it is that the tools do, and coming up with a more static way to represent the algorithm families, especially in the consumption.
yes. I think that we are aligned. Basically, we do need, I would say, this guide we were talking about, and maybe how to create those algorithm names. But just as a guidance, but algorithm family names should be fine.
Okay, all right. When do you think you can get that done? That's the last remaining piece, correct? I mean, that Basil is going to be working on adding additional algorithm families, but since those are outside of the core spec anyway, those can kind of evolve independently. But we still need to capture that in 1.7, how we're going to implement it. When do you think that part will be done? Because I still need to do the conversion to XML and protobuf.
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah. Let me think. So you said that that 1.7 will likely be later this year, right? The release.
I don't know. We're going to try.
Okay.
We're
So it
going to
makes sense
try.
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
The process is that, you know, once we get the specification done, and that means, you know, the JSON, XML protobuf, that sort of thing, then it can go for community review for 30 days. And after that 30 days, then it goes to the ECMA TC54, which then votes on the changes. So it's a little bit of a waiting time. And then of course we still need to work on the other parts of 1.7 that we're trying to get in there and get all the documentation ready by September. I don't know if that's possible or not. This may in fact be the first year that we actually don't have a release. Just because of all the other stuff within TC54 that is simultaneously going on, including package URL, common lifecycle enumeration, transparency exchange API, and all kinds of other stuff. But we'll see. But simultaneously, we are working on that 2.0 object model as well. So the sooner we get 1.7 done, the easier that 2.0 object model is going to be, because we won't have to then forward port the stuff that we're currently working on for 2.0, because it's all based on 1.6 today.
Okay.
For the algorithm side, I think would make sense to try to have a goal like in 1 or 2 months or so to finish that work.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that can evolve independently. You know, that's kind of like the SPDX license IDs and stuff like that. It's not part of the core specification. That's not actually what we're standardizing.
And could you maybe summarize, let's say, what are the main questions around algorithm family names in the schema?
So from my point of view, was just like having it there as a property in the algorithm properties to reference a family, because currently it's just in a separate schema, and this is just missing in the current SBOM schema.
Okay.
And then the PR is basically done from the 1.7 CBOM.
Okay.
Right.
It's not something we have to kind of coordinate. Just something we can add to the schema, and then add the algorithm definitions independently, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know how this is going to work, but one approach, and it might be the easy button in terms of implementation, would be to, we've got the definitions, right, in that sub schema, which Basil's working on, and we could auto-generate an enum of string values that we can just use. That would be one option. We could also do an enum of objects, which is basically what those are today, but that would mean that you'd actually have to, use the fields that are part of that sub schema as it is, which means it's more tightly integrated.
But I think you mentioned last time that you do have some kind of task for that, because it's something you already have, that is enum generation of.
Yeah, we've got one for SPDX license IDs. That's auto generated for us. We could do something similar where, we've got all the definitions in that file, and then we could also just append to that file just an enum of strings, so that way you can just reference it by the string, and then if you actually want to look up the definition, you can do that. You have the option to do that. That would be
I think
one
that would be
approach.
great.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, from my point of view, that's the way we could and we should do it. Maybe if you don't think there's a better way, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would certainly be one way. It wouldn't be too much work to do it. And like I said, we could also experiment with the enum of object as well. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know. Maybe when you're working on it, Nicholas, maybe like have like an experiment where like you actually have both, and here's what it's going to look like, as just a string in the specification. Here's what it's going to look like, if we do like an enum of object, and then maybe what are the benefits and pros and cons of doing each approach, maybe would be really useful, I think.
Okay. Would it be possible for you to share basically the capabilities you do have for this license IDs? Or is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
or is it
Um,
basically just a Python script that's very customized and not really
no,
reusable?
no. We actually regenerate the entire file.
Okay.
We regenerate the entire file every time, but so we wouldn't want to do that. We would want to just, use JQ or, whatever. Well, we got
Mhm.
XML too, I guess, so we'll have to figure out something for that. But we basically just replace the entire file. In our case, we don't want to do that because all the definitions are in that file. So we just want to
Mhm.
take whatever maybe empty element that we use as a template, for example, and then just replace it with the enums, both for XML and JSON. We don't. Oh yeah, we have to do protobuf too. That's gonna be a pain. Actually, you know what we do on protobuf? We don't actually have, so like the SPDX subschema, we don't actually have that in protobuf. We opted not to do that.
Mm.
So we could do the same here. So that would leave um, just XML and JSON, and that's it. So that would make life easier, I think.
Yeah.
You asked about, let's see. It is kind of ugly code. I should probably just move this to Python at some point, call it a day. And this is not repeatable because you will see paths from my local machine in here. I have
Really?
yet to I have yet to make a GitHub action out of this. Uh, so
Uh, yeah.
yeah, so it's not ideal,
Good
but
old Java.
what's that? Yeah, good old Java. Um, yeah, I think I was doing this when when I think Mac was like doing something with like pip and you couldn't install packages like you used to, and it was all a mess back
Oh.
in the day. I mean, it's kind of been sorted out now, but there was that really hard transition period. I think that's just when I went to Java and just like, screw it.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I think just doing an enum string would be fine. And then we could do like a GitHub action where, if that file is then touched, then we would just regenerate that that enum that's embedded in that subschema.
Yeah. Okay.
Shouldn't be
Yeah.
that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to, I don't know, next week, maybe short week. I don't know, maybe wait. So I travel on Thursday. Yes. So maybe I will try to find some time there to do it. Because yeah, I'm not
Okay.
distracted by anything else. Maybe I will. So I will not be able to join the call then because I'm on the way. Maybe.
Next week.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But I let you know if I have something before that I can share.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. The sooner I get this in, the sooner we can kind of go through the process of, getting this whole thing approved. And the sooner we can make these changes available in the 2.0 model as well.
Okay.
So, are you going to be around next week, Basil? Actually, you know what? I'm not. So, never mind. Next week, yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'll be in New Orleans. So, yes.
Nice.
Nice.
So we will cancel next week's CBOM meeting if that's okay.
Yeah, I will take this time then to try to do some progress with the algorithms next week.
All right, very good. Is there anything else that we needed to discuss today?
Thinking about, but I
Not from
don't
my side.
You're
know.
good?
So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's something then we can still do after the. But I think we have to go through the guide, the CBOM guide again.
Oh,
and-
right. Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll update that for 1.7. We'll
Mhm.
also have to update the website in preparation for 1.7, just not merge that in yet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, oh, and then the examples as well. We've
That's the
got
main point.
yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Good call today. No reason to keep everyone on, so appreciate the collaboration as always, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks, I guess.
That's great.
All right.
Thanks.
Cheers.
You in
All right.
weeks.
Bye bye.
Bye.